If you're considering moving to New Westminster in 2024 and beyond, this is a much-watched video because I'll be breaking down the pros and cons of the city and what it's really like to live here. To give you some context, my name is Wanbei. I've personally lived and worked in the US for over 6 years now, and I've got to know the city quite intimately for both myself and helping my clients buy and sell properties in the city. Now let's jump right into the pros. The first and the most major pro, in my opinion, about living in New West is just how central the location is. If you frequent both Metro Vancouver and Fraser Valley, New West really couldn't be a better place, making your commute so convenient.
Located close to South Vancouver, Burnaby, Coquitlam, Port Coquitlam, Richmond, and Surrey, it only takes about 30 minutes or less to get to every city that I've just mentioned, and even further out cities during non-peak traffic hours.
I know for myself as a realtor, I drive all over Metro Vancouver and Fraser Valley, helping my clients buy and sell in different areas. And being in such a central location like New West allows me to reach all these places within a reasonable time.
This applies not only by car but transit as well. There are 5 SkyTrain stations across New West, Braid, Sapperton, Columbia, downtown New West, and 22nd Street, and many of them have very active bus loops as well.
This makes New West one of the most transit-friendly cities in all of Metro Vancouver and Fraser Valley, with amenities that are within short distance away by walk or transit. For example, where I live in downtown New West, I access most of my daily needs by walk, even though I have a car. Because, well, I can easily walk to get groceries, multiple gyms, banks, and other services like dental or medical, quality restaurants that are so underrated, entertainment like parks, basketball courts, dog play areas, theaters, and more. There are many households that have family members that commute to work in either Vancouver or Burnaby, have family in, say, Richmond, Coquitlam, or the Fraser Valley. So being in a central location like New West allows them to reach all their destinations with ease.
I know for myself, I frequent Surrey Central and Guildford for shopping, to get some good ethnic foods, or to go to their community centers to play Japan basketball, while going to my office in North Burnaby. And maybe a night out to downtown Vancouver with no need to Uber or taxi because of SkyTrain is so accessible.
One drawback would be if you have a growing family or simply just want more space, you'd rather consider more family-oriented neighborhoods like the West End, Glenbrook North, or my personal favorite, Queen's Park, while still being conveniently located. The second pro of living in New Westminster is community. Having personally lived in Vancouver, Burnaby, Port Moody, Coquitlam, and Surrey, I will actually dare to say New West has the most sense of community. Perhaps it's because it is the oldest city with the most heritage and character, or being one of the smaller cities where people tend to have more pride, or probably the combination. I found that there are many people that swear by living in New West, boasting about its pros and its history. And as a resident of New West myself, I can see why.
Being a smaller and dense city compared to surrounding cities like Burnaby and Coquitlam, I see many local involvement in community events like festivals, donation drives, and even just hanging out in local shops and cafes.
The third pro of living in New West is its future development and potential for growth. Most Metro Vancouver cities are constantly developing, and here in New West is no different. One area in particular that has been developing heavily is the Brewery District by Sapperton, where it is close to transit, walkable shops, and a huge demand for housing from the Royal Columbian Hospital, which employs hundreds of medical professionals and other staff. This makes it incredibly attractive for these workers to be able to walk to the hospital, shops and restaurants, cafes, and SkyTrain station for transiting, saving them lots of commute time and potentially eliminating the need for owning a car at all. Now, of course, New West does have some cons too.
One major con you want to consider are the trains, both Canadian Railway and the SkyTrains. New West does have a railway that runs through all the way from Braid to 22nd Street and beyond. They do run pretty much every day and even nights as well. The good news is that for some people like myself, I've gotten pretty used to the train and doesn't bother me even as a light sleeper. And thankfully the trains don't honk their whistles during night where I live in downtown New West, so that definitely helps.
Another con of living in New West is that at some times and some specific places, there are still homeless presence in the city. New West has had a reputation for having a bit more rougher demographic near the SkyTrain stations and some parts in Queensborough. And the city is working to clean up the streets, but to say that it's completely safe and clean wouldn't be fair. As a single guy in my 20s, this is not a huge deal to me, though I still stay alert near the parks or SkyTrain stations, but I can definitely see for a young family with kids or older residents, this might be a bigger issue to consider, and for some, enough to push them out of these areas. So those are your pros and cons of living in New West from a current New West resident and realtor. Now you can decide for yourself if the pros in New West outweigh the cons. Reach out to me so I can help you either buy or sell all over Metro Vancouver and Fraser Valley. Check out some of my other videos I made here.